Let's get into crypto here, where it's going, what it's going to do. Before I do so, come over to ztrades.net, check out our terms and conditions page, read our disclaimer as well as our terms. If you agree, watch the video, join the Discord completely free. Don't agree, get out of this video right now. Don't join the Discord. Let's jump into it. First off, XRP, we're making a flag right here. The CEO went on 60 Minutes. So there's going to be a run up into that. And once they're on there, it's going to drop. It dropped. Oh, it's all of alts are getting smashed right now. I woke up. I just woke up, guys. Bear with me. This thing's going to tear. I mean, it's absolutely going to tear. I wonder if we can see the original pop. It still hasn't recovered to where it was. Well, yeah, it doesn't show the data. This is the first thing I got in was XRP. The very first thing I got in when I got into this was my introduction to trading back in 2016 to everything. We're coming on almost a decade now, but I expect us to pop out of this at some point. Looks fantastic to me. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and download this chart because it looks good. Let's download that. Ethereum Classic was beaten down. It was at 17 bucks. At the beginning of November. 17 bucks. That was like not that long ago. Anyways, we can see we basically went from 5 to 10 to 183. This thing could easily see, let's go ahead and put the fibs up. It's not going to show us all of it over here, is it? I may have to do that myself. This is not correct. This is not correct. What am I doing here? Hold on. I'm going to try to, you know what? We'll do this another time. Right now, these wicks are screwing it up. Either way, I'm getting frustrated here, and I haven't had any coffee yet. We could be somewhat building a cup and handle here on Ethereum Classic. It's down to 30 bucks. This thing gets in the 20s again. I'm going to load up on it. Big time. Let's take a look at ADA. I mean, this has been great. Before we saw, look at this, man. We were at a penny, basically, and we saw $3. That is just ridiculous. Do you guys know how much of a move that is? If you're at like a cent and it goes to $3, that's insane. That's 300 extra money. So if you put $1,000 in there, that's 300,000. I mean, that's just ridiculous. If you put 10 grand in, no one's gonna do that. But 500 in. 15 grand off a lousy 500 bucks. Anyways, this thing looks like it wants to come back to reality a bit. At the end of the day, I expected to see this high again. If not, at least this range right over in here. 187 to 245. I mean, that would be great. I've got a lot of ADA. I've got over 1,000 of them, which isn't too much, but if we see 3,000 off basically nothing. I called it in the group at 23 cents. I did that with who? I did that, it may have been Dave Trader and Wonderboy. We were in that at 23. We were contacting each other when no one was touching this stuff. Solana, let's take a look. Why didn't I buy? I had dry powder in USD. You know how they have USDC for Ethereum, Tron, oh God, getting out of that, and Solana. So I've got a lot of money left in that just in case something. I always have. It's like, watching those old battle movies with Napoleon. They have their reserves off to the side for the line battles. And I always have my reserves off to the side in case something bad happens to where I can really, just like with the challenge account. I was kind of sure that we were going to drop. Well, it happened. Those of you following that challenge account, and I still got cash, so I'm ready to go. But I expected us to drop down. I wish these little white lines would go away. Maybe if I do this, there we go. Expected us to drop down and bounce off this right around 200. This saw 199. I could have thrown 1,800 bucks in there at 199. This thing's already at 225. I mean, that would have been great. That would have been 5. I got more than that. Yeah, so that would have been about 7 or 8. coins, so 8 times 25. That's not bad. I'd already be up that much. I would have minted some out of thin air. I could have even taken the money out and left the rest in, the profit in. You know, my mind goes like that. But anyways, this was a beautiful build up here. There, look at this. 1 on the weekly, 2, 3, reversal. So it could dance and bounce around in here. But then I want to see it. Keep in mind, guys, it came from 121 to 263. There's going to be a pullback. So if it goes from 199 and that was the low, then shoots up, can you imagine? We're going to be in the threes easily if that's the case, right? This was a cup and handle, so we're looking at TA that is a part of a cup and handle. Cup, beautiful handle, explosion. It's a healthy pullback. Again, simple technical analysis. Uno, dos, tres. Big body, smaller, smaller, showing weakening, reversal into a support and a bounce. Should have bought it right there. All good. Let's keep moving. Bitcoin. Let's do ETH. Let's do ETH first, and we'll jump into that. Again, we came all the way down from 2,100 to 4,000. It's got to have a pullback. We want to see it curl around and go. So I'm going to look for something like a support, right? I've never used this one here. Let me get my face out of the way here. Let's go ahead and make this a different color. For Ethereum, we'll do blue. Yeah. This is where we could come. Wait a second. There. This is what could happen here. Let me go ahead and fix this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. We could bounce around in this area for a little bit, right? We could come down here, worst case, but the end of December, and I'm talking about like around Christmas Eve and into the new year, going into January, over in here, I expect us to really, really explode out of that. If that happens, usually the bear technical analysis, like, when you have supports way, way down there, they never make it. We end up turning around. It looks like Solana, that's already about to happen. But I've been in this stuff for, gosh, you all in the Discord that know me, I mean, you don't even need to watch these videos if you've been in here a couple years and are active. You already know everything I know. So, but you newer people that have not been in here long, you know how long I've been in Bitcoin and crypto related stuff. I started calling it in April of 2023. And I should have been loading at that massive drop in 2022 when Bitcoin was 15,000. I'm very pissed off. Ethereum was 800. Just buying a whole Bitcoin. You're not going to starve to death. It's America, right? You got to put your cojones on the line there. I'm not going to starve to death. None of you are. Your life isn't going to be over 15 grand, It's 15 grand. Right now it's at 100. So what I'm going to do next halving cycle is I'm going to borrow money and I'm going to document. I have to make sure I can't go to jail for this. But I'm going to borrow money from a bank. I'm going to take out a loan against Z-Trades. If it's legal, I'll check with my attorneys. And I'm going to literally flat out buy a Bitcoin with it. Worst case, I could see myself getting hit. If something happened and I was forced to pay it back like 20 grand or something like that, 30. I mean, I don't know. But if there's, I don't know. That's what I'd like to do. Especially if there's something catastrophic that happens, I'll go on and be like, let me get 100, right? And document it, the arbitrage. And I tried to do this before, but they wouldn't let me do it. I don't know why. In late 2022, I tried to do it. Can you imagine? Anyways, I was going to buy gold and Bitcoin. Look at them now from 2022 to now. I was spot on. We got a trend line here. I don't want to see the 50. I don't want to see this gigantic gap to be filled. I don't. You know, there's no way in hell we're coming to 69. I just don't see that. Let's take a look at the weekly. It could if something catastrophic happened. You know, worst case, it went flat and chopped around. You know, over in here, we're in the 90s still. You know, maybe the low 80s, and then took off from there. Then we're going to see the 130s, 120s, 130s. You know, we came from 52 to 105, right, on Bitcoin futures, 104 on raw Bitcoin. That's like a 100% move, right? So if we did somehow, which I don't think is going to happen, but it would be not, you know, on the daily it already happened. We're already bouncing off this trend line, right? And it's looking like we could eventually turn around and bust out of here. If that happens, we're going to freaking fly. But if for some reason it didn't go in the time that it does go and we bounced off this and then went, you're seeing, you know, it did another 100% move. I mean, you're seeing 130 to 160, just like that. And at that point, miners would squeeze. I'm not going to cover miners right now. Miners are going to stay low till the end of the month, and then the new year, I believe that they'll squeeze very hard. Let's take a look at what's another crypto we need to look at. BCH. This is always overlooked by everybody, and looks like we have a cup and handle. Wait. Yeah, Bitcoin Cash. I love Bitcoin Cash. No one talks about it. It freaking moves. Look at this. This was just 2023, right? A little over a year ago. It was $90 and it went to 700. 7 extra money just like that. Pow. Came down 305, back up. So, yeah. Daily 50 EUA at 474. We'll see what happens there. Monthly. Take a look at my phone here real quick, guys. I'm gonna have to cut this video short here in a moment. I like doing these in the morning more. Look at this, man. 1600 last halving cycle. When did it start going parabolic? This was set up different. October. November. We had a great November. December, it was crappy, kind of like now. January, nice pop to 647. February, March, April. Gosh, May. Right, so this would be considered an alt. Bitcoin does its own thing. We're going back to the last halving cycle. Bitcoin, you know, November, December, it was strong. January, February, March, April. See, May, it was down. Bitcoin Cash was running. The alts will separate after. Bitcoin, I'm looking for it to do its thing, you know. I'm looking for it to top out, honestly, by March at the latest. It could keep going in April. The rule is you want to be in it for a year after the halving, in my rule, right? And I'm basing my rule off history. So if that's the case, then I don't want to be in longer than, you know, April. Now, alts, sure, but I'll scale out of my Bitcoin then. And if something catastrophic happens in mid-2025, which I'm expecting it to, something bad to happen, like a financial disaster, I'm going to come back in with half of my profit. Not my initial investment, not my profit, with half my profit, right? So if that gets cooked, you know, it ends up being a tax write-off, whatever, I still have my original back and my profit, half of my profit. I can go out there and buy physical assets while things are low. Other things. And I'll go get fiat, I'll borrow, I'll make it doing jobs, this, here, there, right? And buy more Bitcoin until the next halving when the time's right. But anyways, alts I'll be holding past April. Bitcoin I will not. So alts lag big time. Big time. So this is what I want to see is over in here. I want to see this pop. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight months. Basically 7. So we have not had that yet. We've had 1, 2, 3. It'd be nice to get another 3-month run and get this thing up to around 200, guys. But Bitcoin will be one of the first things I scale out of. And I want this Solana ETF. It's supposed to come out in March, guys. Sol. is the number one thing that I am bullish on. The number one thing. There was something I was going to talk about as well. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. I wanted to bring this up. This is an article I'm going to release actually right now, and I'll put a link to it in the video. Now, this is a sponsored post on behalf of Outside the Box Capital. So, you know, whenever I was reading into it, I was like, this is fascinating. It's very fascinating. You know, this came across because I'm obsessed with Solana. Right, so first off, I'm going to say this here. This is an over-the-counter stock. They're very risky. This is not a buy recommendation. Nothing that I'm saying is financial advice. This is not a buy recommendation. They're very strict on OTCs, guys. This distribution was conducted on behalf of Sol Global Investment Corp. Canadian ticker SOL.CN. US OTC is SOL. CF, which you can see there on the chart, and was funded by Outside the Box Capital Incorporated and or affiliates after Z Trades was engaged by Outside the Box Capital to advertise for Sol Global Investment Corporation. Right? This is sponsored. Let me quickly read over this. I'm going to put a link to the article. You know, debt conversion to equity to support new direction. Sol Global, they're basically buying Solana from what I'm reading here. SOLCF converted existing debt into equity, bolstering its financial position and enabling more agile investments into the blockchain sector. So what it seems like, and I may be wrong on this, fact check me, that it's almost like an MSTR for Sol, in a sense. They're not doing share offerings, though. They've brokered private placement. In November 2024, Sol Global announced a 3.6 million broker private placement of units, enhancing its capital base for future investments. So this is, you know, leadership appointments as well. The company strengthened its board, appointing independent directors, bringing diverse expertise to guide the strategic initiatives. Interesting here. Interesting. Take a look at this. If you guys like Solana, do some research on this. Again, this is not a buy recommendation. This is not financial advice, and I'm not saying to buy this. I'm saying this is pretty interesting. Why don't you take a look at it? This is an OTC, guys, and this thing has had some a decent move here from basically 2 cents, and we're 2 cents to 3 cents is a lot. Like, that's a whole bunch. That's like a 60% move. So we'll see what they're going to keep doing. And, you know, if Solana goes up, that would be great, you know, and just like MicroStrategy, if Bitcoin goes up, I can't say too much here. So, again, I'm not saying this will go up, and I'm not saying this is a buy recommendation. I'm just saying it's a very fascinating and interesting company. Go read up on them. I have an article about them as well. If you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more. I've covered some alts as well as Bitcoin. And in my next video, I'm going to do this later in December, where we're at on the rainbow chart. I'm going to give it some time. Another 2 weeks, I'll do another video here. So if you guys like this content, like and follow for more.